Hello, this is artist, entrepreneur, and art educator Eric McRay here in my studio with Jillian. Jillian at one time had worked here at McRay Studios, and she is now in grad school, and she's going to introduce herself and tell you a little bit about the questions we're going to address.
Hi, I'm Jillian. I'm studying public administration at UNC Charlotte, and I'm here to talk to Eric about the cultural sector in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the cultural sector here in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yes.
Okay, fire away. What's your first question?
How does the Raleigh community define arts and culture, and how has that changed over the years?
I think years ago how art was defined in this region. When I first came to North Carolina and I came to Raleigh about 1989, I think public art was really a radical concept, and it became pretty controversial when the use of public funds for public art, where a lot of the populace was used to painting being really and really when I came here, a lot of it was watercolors, works on paper. And then I knew there were some really successful painters in town who had built a reputation, a lot of collectors, but then when the idea of public funds were being used for art that really didn't necessarily appeal to the masses of the population here in Raleigh, it can be quite controversial. So now public art and things like of that nature is much more present because Raleigh's become much more sophisticated and a little bit more metropolitan.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And as a working artist, how has the changes that have occurred and how the public perceives art affected your work? And how have you had to adapt or not adapt to changes in the demographic over the past 20 years?
Okay. Well, the changes that have come to Raleigh, say, over the last 20 years, I've been working here for a good 20. So what I've noticed is that the interest in art that's outside of landscape painting has become broader. That was considered more mainstream, more accessible, polite art. Here, art has become much more political, much more provocative, more conceptual. And then for those who collect art and want to have art in their home, I think they're more responsive to things that are more ethnic and also more abstract. Initially, I won't say initially, but for a long time, I mean, it just seemed prevalent that, you know, a lot of the artists here were landscape painters, and not seen as a negative, but it was almost like the polite, safe place to stay. And that isn't always good for art as a whole. If you choose to do it, but not when you're obligated to do it.
It was indeed the service.
Okay, you good? Okay, all right, take care.
Thanks.
All right, that was my neighbor, folks. All right, continue. This is the kind of stuff that happens. Let people know this isn't all like staged, like, you know, real stuff happens. Okay.
So as an artist, how has your client base changed over the past 20 years?
For me specifically, or just how?
Or you specifically?
For me, how my client base has changed over the years. I think ethnically, my client base is more diverse. I think socioeconomically, it's more range. I think in this region, people are becoming more aware of that owning original art is doable, and that so you don't necessarily be wealthy to have original art. And then thus I'm getting younger people who are beginners, or starting out, young couples or whatever, individuals who want to collect art modestly and get their feet wet and move into more high-end pricier stuff over time. But me personally, some of my demographic is aging out because I've been here a while. A lot of people collected my work who were in their 40s and now in their 60s, so they're kind of downsizing. So I think part of my longevity is just a constant new people being exposed to me, especially with the influx of so many people from around the world, not just across the state or the country, but the world coming here. We're becoming a true national and global hub.
Have you changed some of the work you're making?
My work changes constantly. I have a hard time not changing what I do. And
would you say your work has been changing with the new people coming to Raleigh?
I'm so classic. I don't necessarily follow the trends. I mean, like, for example, I've never done an installation. And I meet young artists and they're making installations and they're considered hot stuff. I don't do installation. I mean, I may eventually make one, And when I do, it's going to be the best that anybody's seen around. It's going to be phenomenal, just because I'm going to really pour my heart into it to make it something of value. I'm not going to just sling anything together and do an Emperor's New Clothes kind of thing. But I think I'm more classic, so my range of what I do is kind of like, this is abstraction, this is impressionism, this is cubism. It's kind of in the range of what you expect. So there's no huge surprises. It's just that how I interpret those different styles and mediums. So I don't think I've changed based off the demographic as much as I changed based off my personal interests.
Right.
I mean, I walked away from very lucrative bodies of work that made me good money that I just lost interest in. So I just moved on to something else. And then I still survive as an artist. So it's not all money driven or trend or popularity driven. I just make my art.
How do you think